What's going on YouTube? Welcome to Wawa Echo. My name is Parker, and as always, I am joined by the Mojo Raleigh to my Zach Ryder. We are here with Zach, of course. I don't know if I said your name before. Did I say your name? I didn't say your name.
So.
No, we'll edit that. So we're here, guys, for our predictions for WWE Payback 2017. We have an eight match card that's been confirmed.
One on the pre-show.
And there will also be a segment of Miz TV on the pre-show with special guest star Finn Balor. So that will be interesting. But let's start off first with the match that's been confirmed for the pre-show, which is Enzo and Cass versus Gallows and Anderson. Zach, who do you think is winning this all-important match?
So important. It just kind of feels thrown together for me. However, I do kind of see... I hope that Amore and Cass win, but I have the feeling the club will be pulling it off this time.
So you're going with the club.
I'm going with the club.
I am also going with the club. Surprisingly enough, we're actually starting off agreeing with each other for once. That's weird. I feel like the club need it more, first of all, and I feel like that they would... I don't know, they just need it more, honestly, than Enzo and Cass. Enzo and Cass do kind of need it because their shtick is getting kind of old. They need something new. But I don't know. I've got a feeling Gallows and Anderson are taking it for some reason.
Yep.
So let's talk about for a second this Miz TV segment. It's not a prediction, but let's just talk about it for a sec. We have Miz and Maurice will obviously be talking to Finn Balor. Do you have any things that you think will happen in this? I think that Dean Ambrose will come out. That's like a prediction if we're going to call... They're not like official predictions or anything like that. I just think it's worth talking about because it's technically... It's taking the place of a match instead of coming up with some other match. They're doing this instead. I kind of wish that there was a match for Balor or Dean versus Miz on the card. Something like that. But, we're stuck with Miz TV. So I have a feeling that Dean Ambrose will show up. And something like that. Well, what do you think? Do you have any sort of ideas at all?
I have no clue because it was like Monday. They just said, by the way, here's Miz TV segment with Finn Balor.
It was out of nowhere.
I don't know where they're going. I don't know what direction they're heading. So I have no.
It's possible that this could be their idea for a start for a feud between Balor and Miz, which might not be bad. Though they've hinted at Balor feuding against Bray Wyatt after Wyatt's done with his match against Orton that we'll talk about later. So, but they could have changed their mind and they could be going with Balor versus Wyatt, or they could be going with Balor versus Miz. I kind of would prefer going with Balor versus Miz, and saving Balor versus Wyatt for like later on down the road, like maybe WrestleMania. Or maybe even just next year, like something like that. I would save that feud because if you build them both up correctly beforehand, I think that Wyatt versus Balor could be a really good feud, similar to Wyatt versus Orton and what they had with that. But so I would kind of hold off on it if I was them. I'm not sure if they did that who they would have Wyatt feud with instead. But I don't know. I think that Balor versus Miz could be good. It could, or at least okay. It may not be the greatest, but with that, we'll be heading to the main card right now with, of course, the United States Championship match, which is the champion, the face of America, Kevin Owens, versus everyone's favorite scarf-wearing dad, Chris Jericho. Who do you have for this match, Zach?
Obviously, Kevin Owens.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that Kevin's going to be winning this. We talked about it in our last prediction video with WrestleMania. Chris Jericho is going on tour with his band,
which actually starts on May 5th. I found out, and almost every single date in May and June, Fozzy will be playing. So this is obviously it's obviously Jericho's run coming to an end. He's going to lose this.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to assume that it's definitely going to be Kevin Owens winning. It's not much to talk about. I kind of wish that Jericho hadn't have like I said in our prediction video for WrestleMania, I wish Jericho could have won at WrestleMania. I feel like that could have been better if they'd have done that and then had
have Owens, Jericho win at WrestleMania and then Payback for Owens. And then Jericho leaves.
Yeah, and then you could have you could have this next Monday, have Jericho get his rematch, lose, do a kayfabe injury, and have him sent on his way. I think that might have been the better way to do it. But this is what we got, so what's what we're gonna go with. But the next match that we're going to talk about is the Raw Tag Team Championship match, which is between the champions, the Hardys, versus Sheamus and Cesaro. Who are you thinking for this one, Zach?
I have the Hardys because, I don't know. I am skeptical about this match because if they're gonna lose the title to anyone, I would want it to be either Cesaro and Sheamus or Enzo and Cass, but I don't think Enzo and Cass are ready, so I don't know. I'm still predicting the Hardys.
I am also predicting the Hardys.
Oh
we are 3 for 3 right now, which obviously the last few matches are going to be very important because there's not going to be a whole lot of difference between our predictions. And we haven't discussed who we think's winning before this, so these are surprises.
These videos,
we do these videos, with the surprise intact of we're not knowing what each other thinks. I'm also going the Hardys just because the Hardys, they've just been so dominant since coming back, and the one thing that does make me worry is that both Sheamus and Cesaro lost their singles matches the past couple of weeks on Raw against the Hardys. And normally the way WWE does things when it comes to before pay-per-views is whoever wins before the pay-per-view loses at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's not always the case, but most of the time it's what it seems like. But I don't know. I feel like that I'd be okay with Cesaro and Sheamus winning because I love Cesaro and Sheamus. They're probably my favorites in the tag team division on Raw after the Hardys for sure. So I'm not going to be super disappointed. Plus, also there is talk of a singles run for Jeff Hardy here soon. There are rumors of a SummerSlam Universal Championship match against Brock Lesnar in store for Jeff Hardy. So I doubt that they would have him.
I don't know where you heard. I've not even heard that.
You haven't heard that? That's been going around the last few weeks.
And since I've been sick for a week, I've been browsing some news sites.
You're gonna have to keep looking because I've seen in a few places.
I've seen nowhere.
I've seen in a few places where there's this rumor about Jeff versus Brock
I'm
Lesnar.
not against it.
Yeah,
I've seen Jeff versus Brock before, and Jeff is an amazing competitor, and I think he's definitely deserving of a top of the card run. So
yeah, and that was the original plan before they decided to also get Matt. WWE was only going to get Jeff to come back to have him have a huge single run, but because of just the overwhelming popularity of Matt, they just had to get them both. Like that would have been stupid.
And now they both can do their own.
Yeah, hopefully they won't leave Matt in the dust like they have in the past when they've broken up the Hardys to give Jeff his runs.
Well, they're gonna bring the broken Matt Hardy gimmick to.
They are in the process of going through all the legal issues to get the broken gimmick going. So I just hope that they just don't mess it up because WWE does have the history of messing up really good ideas in the past. But so we both have the Hardys. I don't know. I think it's a little too soon to take it off the Hardys. I think that maybe at Extreme Rules or Bad Blood, which are the next two Raw exclusive pay-per-views before SummerSlam, I think maybe at one of those two, perhaps the Hardys will lose it to either Cesaro and Sheamus or the Club. But we'll just have to wait and see. But we both, as of now, have the Hardys. So let's go to the next match, which is the House of Horrors match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Who have you got for this one, Zach?
I have Bray Wyatt.
Are you serious? I thought for sure this would be the one where we would disagree on.
Wait, so you have Bray
Yes,
too?
I have Bray Wyatt too.
But all the signs point to Bray Wyatt winning.
Yes,
now, I could see Randy Orton winning, but...
I could, but honestly, if they did that, with it not being a title match...
why not just keep it a title match?
Well,
just so many different things.
The thing that I think they're going to do, though they ruined it a couple weeks ago with their commentary, talking about how Jinder Mahal is going to be facing Randy Orton at Backlash.
Too.
They talked about that, which showed that, and that's when they changed it to a non-title match, was after they did that. But what I think they're going to say at the pay-per-view is the fact that since Jinder Mahal has taken Randy Orton's title and run away with it, that they're going to say, we can't possibly make this a title match because there is no title to give to Bray Wyatt. Even though they probably have they have a million titles probably stashed in the back, so you wouldn't think that would be.
That, I'm pretty sure they understand that everyone who follows WWE has noticed that this is being no longer a title match, and they quietly did it though. Like they're not out there saying it yet.
It was
so
weird.
I don't think they're gonna worry about talking about it. They're just gonna have the match, and it's just gonna happen.
They very well might. I do think it was very weird that they started it out as a title match. Like it was very obvious, the week after WrestleMania that Wyatt was saying, this is my rematch, and so I think it's dumb not giving Wyatt his rematch. They've been making a history of that this last year or so, of not giving the contract rematches.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked that we disagree, or we do agree on this one. I also have Bray Wyatt just because, it's his own match that he came up with, and with it not being a title match, it would just be so destroying of Bray Wyatt to lose this match. And I feel like he needs to be brought back up because they were doing a really good job of bringing Wyatt up this last year since the brand split, but I feel like after having him, lose to Randy at WrestleMania, even though that's what I wanted to happen, sort of, I do feel like it was very damaging to Wyatt because they just keep having him lose these big name feuds. He lost to John Cena, he lost to Roman Reigns, lost to Dean Ambrose, lost to The Shield, lost to now Randy Orton. He's lost to Undertaker. He's lost to so many people. Who hasn't won once at WrestleMania. They're just really I think digging him a hole that if they don't watch it, he won't be able to come back from. Because now with the promos he has and all that stuff, it's not exciting anymore because he just says the same old stuff that he has his whole career. And while it's interesting, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not like, I can see why he's gonna send Randy Orton to purgatory and like it's his own hell that for the rest of the all this stuff. Like it doesn't mean anything anymore because they've had him lose so many times. So I'm going with Bray Wyatt. I think that's the best thing for Bray because I think he needs to kickstart a little bit of momentum.
He needs to win, and Randy Orton can afford a loss because
Randy Orton
has a championship match next pay-per-view, and he is the champion. So it's not like
and he's Randy Orton. He's been here for 15 years. He's developed a this legacy about him already, and Wyatt hasn't. Like when you look at their careers, which one of these careers is a Hall of Fame career? It's not Bray Wyatt's yet. Maybe one day, but so far, Wyatt definitely needs it more than Orton. So let's go to the next match. We are halfway through the card, and we have no disagreements. But I'm hoping that this one's a disagreement. It's the Cruiserweight Championship match with Neville, the champion, versus Austin Aries. Who do you have, Zach, and why?
Well, Here's the sad part. As I said in the WrestleMania 33 prediction video, is that I don't keep up with the cruiserweights as much. Because when they're on Raw, it's kind of like, yawn, whatever. I'm on my phone type of thing. And obviously I don't watch 205 Live. I can't watch Raw or SmackDown weekly anyway, much less that. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know what's going on in the storyline as much right now. However, if I had to just assume who is going to win, I would have to say Neville.
You're going with Neville?
I am going with Neville.
Oh my God. I'm going with Neville as well. What happened? I thought, because at WrestleMania you predicted Austin Aries.
But seeing how Neville beat Austin Aries, I thought that was just because it was going to be the big stage kind of win, and this would be a nice turnover of things. I think if they're going to build this thing up, like I think they will, it'll probably culminate at SummerSlam. So it's not time to give Aries the title yet.
Okay, well, I agree with everything that Zach says. What in the world? We've got 3 matches left and we have no disagreements, man. This is really weird. I also have Neville. I love Neville as the champion. I think he's great. I think heel Neville's the best Neville that there is, and I really like it. I can't take Austin Aries as a face. I can't accept him as a face because I know through most of NXT and through most of his career he's been a heel. I just can't see him as a face. So and I just love Neville as the champion. I think he's the best of the cruiserweights. I of course don't have the chance to watch 205 Live either. Though I've meant to, but I don't because it's not that interesting to me. So I'm also not super sure on how things have been going in their feud on 205 Live. But I don't know. I love Neville, so I can't bet against him. But the next match, surely the next match we will disagree on. It is Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Who do you have?
You really think we're going to disagree on this?
I hope we're going to disagree on this. Who do you have?
I have Roman Reigns.
Okay, thank you. We disagree. I have Braun Strowman.
Good.
Why do you have Roman Reigns?
Well, let's see. It's Roman Reigns. It's Roman Reigns, and it's Roman Reigns.
All valid points.
But let's just... okay, so Roman has been buried for the past... No, okay, buried for the past month. Like, Strowman has constantly taken him out and constantly taken him out. What happens every time? Roman comes back and hits a bigger move or does something better or whatever. And so he's been off TV for a week, and mainly that was because of his brother's death. And but now I think he's just going to come back and do what John Cena 2.0 would do, and not to mention that Roman Reigns has main evented 3 of the last. Well, this would be his 4th paperback, as opposed to the hardback is the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. Paperback is. Shut up! I'm sick. I can't think. Payback, his 4th payback main eventing, if this is main eventing, which it is currently listed as the main event on Wikipedia. It is listed as the main event.
Really?
Yeah. And so this would be his 4th one, and he's won 2 out of the last 3. So I think he will make it 3 out of the last 4. I think he's going to win this one.
The thing that I think is, yes, Roman Reigns is John Cena 2.0. Honestly, I feel like that doesn't actually work anymore. I feel like Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns 2.0 as opposed to John Cena 2.0 because he's gone even further past John Cena as of now. I think that they're going to have Braun Strowman win this because I believe that the plan is for Braun to be the person who takes on Brock Lesnar for the
But what about Jeff Hardy?
I think that...
And then what about the plans for Roman Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania 34?
I know that.
So what is Strowman?
I know that that the plan right now is Roman versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. And the rumors are that it's going to be Jeff Hardy versus Lesnar at SummerSlam. But there are 2 pay-per-views in between Payback and SummerSlam.
Yes.
So you can't tell me that there's not going to be someone facing the Universal Champion at 2.
Yes, I can. When the Universal Champion is Brock Lesnar.
I mean, you can say that.
When the Universal Champion is Brock Lesnar, I can say that.
You can say that, sure, and it might be true. But this is what I think is going to happen. I think that Roman Reigns is going to lose only because of his injuries. Because the only way that Roman ever loses is by interference or some sort of dirty underhanded tactic. And by doing this, because they've said that like he separated his shoulder and like stuff like that. I don't know how long it normally takes to heal a separated shoulder, but I don't think it's 2 weeks. I may be wrong. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Doctors in the comment section, please let me know. But I don't think it's 2 weeks. And I think that they're going to use that as the reason why Braun Strowman beats Roman Reigns. And that way it doesn't necessarily hurt Roman because he was severely injured. And that way it gives Braun Strowman like the legitimacy to say, okay, now that I've beaten Roman Reigns, I am calling out Brock Lesnar for either Extreme Rules or Bad Blood for a Universal Championship match, which I would predict that Braun Strowman would lose, because I don't think that Braun Strowman's ready to hold the championship yet, at least not the World Championship, maybe like Intercontinental or US, but I don't think he's ready for a championship yet. And I feel like that you can't go 3 pay-per-views in a row without having your world title be defended. Maybe they'll do that, but you can't tell me that there's not going to be a single Universal Championship match between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Like, SummerSlam's not till like August.
Yes, but Brock Lesnar has done it before.
I know that
he's walked out it was actually right at 3 months with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
I hate it. Like, I don't like it. Like,
that doesn't mean WWE won't do it. This is a prediction video, not a what I want them to do video.
Well,
we can do that as a separate series. This is a prediction video.
Yes, but like that would be my prediction, because like that was what they had talked about, was that it would be Strowman versus Lesnar. But then I've heard this stuff about Hardy versus Lesnar. So maybe they're doing that instead of Strowman, but I think that they should do both. So like that's what I think. So
now, you want to know my opinion? I think Strowman should win. I think he should, because of all the crap that he has done. Like, you bring valid points, but I just don't think Vince McMahon is going to let it happen.
I could see it happening,
which is sad.
Yeah, and they've mixed up the payback aspect of this.
Yeah.
Because Reigns and Strowman had a match at Fastlane, which Reigns won. So technically, this should be Strowman's payback on Reigns, but they've switched it, and now it's Reigns' payback on Strowman, which has me worried that it could be Reigns winning. But I'm going to say that it's going to be Strowman.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it.
Hopefully, you think Reigns is actually gonna lose.
Hopefully, like, Reigns winning made me win the last pay-per-view, so hopefully Reigns losing will help me win this one. I don't know, but I'm going to Strowman, and we finally have a disagreement. So, like, and there's only 2 more matches, so. Let's see what happens. This could be the only match that we disagree on, and it could be the match that decides it.
Yeah, if it's the only match, then.
So, Zach, of course, is going for Roman Reigns. I'm going for Braun Strowman. I'm going for Braun Strowman over Roman Reigns. What am I doing? The next match is Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Who do you have for this match?
This one's actually kind of hard to tell, because I feel like there's going to be some shenanigans, but...
that's possible.
Then again, we also thought that for Triple H versus Seth Rollins, and there wasn't that many, like,
true.
Stephanie, but...
Yeah, and Steph really didn't do anything of any sort of substance. But
Exactly.
this could be the return of the Authority.
Yeah.
They've been missing since WrestleMania. This could be what brings them back. But who do you think is winning?
So, I'd have to say, this is really hard. I'd have to say Samoa Joe.
What? Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised that you're saying
as much as
Samoa
I
Joe.
want Seth Rollins to win, again, we are predicting.
Yeah.
I think because if you think about it, well, unless Seth Rollins gets, or they, like, someone outside attacks Seth Rollins and he gets disqualified,
Mm-hmm.
I think a distraction or some sort of, something will happen.
See, if Seth Rollins gets attacked, then Seth wins the match.
Yes. I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unless that happens, which then I'll be wrong.
Yeah.
I think that in any other way, Samoa Joe's going to win.
Very interesting.
I don't think it'll be clean, though.
Yeah. I am going with Seth Rollins.
Oh, my God.
This
should be exact opposite, I feel like.
Yeah, I know. Zach is one of his favorites of the current roster is Seth Rollins, and I love Seth Rollins too. It's definitely up there for me. But I'm going with Seth Rollins because this is Payback. This is Payback, and Rollins needs his payback from Samoa Joe, and so I think that's what they're gonna do. Because they haven't had a one-on-one match since Seth Rollins has came back.
Might I remind you that Payback that Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose got from Seth Rollins for breaking up the Shield last year or the year before, whatever.
The year before, it would have been. The year before.
I just looked it up. Seth Rollins won that match, and it was supposed to be like the payback that it was a triple threat, and it was a fatal
it doesn't always happen
exactly
because when you look at Neville versus Aries, we both predict Neville, but technically this should be Austin Aries' payback.
Yeah,
and Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, it should definitely be Chris Jericho's payback, but there's no way he's winning. There's I think that there will be at least one match that is payback.
Yeah.
And I'm going to predict that Seth versus Samoa Joe. So I'm going with Seth, and you're going with Joe. So that's two matches that we've got disagreeing on, and hopefully it won't come hopefully we won't tie because of the
I win one.
Hopefully, if you win the Reign Strowman one, but I win the Samoa Joe.
What if they both go through no contest?
Oh my Lord! Oh Jesus! The last match of the card is the Raw Women's Championship match between the champion Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. Who do you have for this one? And why?
I have Bayley.
You have Bayley.
I just don't see Alexa taking it that fast.
Great. Well, this could come down to a tie because I also have Bayley. This is our hometown. We must take that into account.
Not really, but okay.
Well, I think that has some merit to it. It doesn't.
Charlotte versus Sasha.
Charlotte versus Sasha, the second one, because at Hell in a Cell, Charlotte beat Sasha in Sasha's hometown, but at a Raw, the Raw where Sasha won from Charlotte before Roadblock into the line, Sasha beat Charlotte in Charlotte's hometown. So
exactly.
they switched them.
So which means Alexa Bliss should be winning. Is by your logic, Alexa Bliss should be winning this match.
No, that is not. No, because see the way it worked with that was unique to their rivalry.
I know it was a joke.
Anyways, my reasoning for Bayley winning is the same as Zach's. I don't feel like that Alexa has been on Raw long enough to win the Raw Championship, and that's really my only reason. I feel like that perhaps the hometown thing has a bit to it as well, because I really didn't think they were going to go with Naomi winning in her hometown, but they did that. So I feel like if they did that for Naomi, I think they'll do that for Bayley as well.
And I also see a Sasha heel turn as well, and that can't happen that can happen, but it just won't mean as much if Alexa Bliss is champion.
No, it wouldn't.
Because then Bayley's not champion. What would they be fighting over?
Yeah, exactly. So I also have thought of that, about there being a heel turn possibly for Sasha. So, but we'll see. So, to run through really quick, because it's pretty easy to keep up. Enzo and Cass versus Gallows and Anderson. We both have Gallows and Anderson. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. We both have Kevin Owens. The Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus. We both have the Hardys. Orton versus Wyatt. We both have Wyatt. Neville versus Aries. We both have Neville. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Zach has Roman Reigns. I have Braun Strowman. And for Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe, I have Seth Rollins. Zach has Samoa Joe. And for Bayley versus Alexa Bliss, we both have Bayley. So the only disagreements that we have are for our former Shield brethren. So we will have to see. We'll have to see about who comes out of Payback with having gotten their payback, and that also goes for the two of us. Will Zach come out of Payback with his payback? And that, I think, is a good transition into our punishment and drinking rules. The punishment for this one, the loser will have to sit in an ice bath for 5 whole minutes. Yes. We're trying to kill each other.
Apparently, yes.
Because the cinnamon challenge, you could easily die from that if you try to not throw up like Zach did, and you try to keep it all down, you could die. And an ice bath, you could have hypothermia and lose some toes.
You say it just so casually. You're like, you could have hypothermia.
Yeah,
no big deal.
It's a side effect.
It's okay.
It's a side effect. So that is the punishment. Will Zach get his payback and have me sit in my own bathtub and freeze to death? Or will Zach lose 2 pay-per-views in a row? That is the question, guys. Of course, we also are going to be drinking some coffee during the pay-per-view. If you wish to drink along with us, whether it be coffee or alcoholic beverages, we don't mind, we don't care, but we're going to be drinking some coffee because we love some coffee. We got some pretty simple drinking rules. Every time they say payback, we take a drink. Every time, if there is ever a face or heel turn, we will down our drinks. And if there are any surprise returns or debuts, we will also down a drink. Not super likely, but it has happened in the past. So those are our drinking rules. Pretty simple. But yeah, guys, so those are our predictions, and we will, of course, be having our reactions video coming up for you sometime next week, as soon as we can get it all edited out and cut down to size. That will be a lot easier than the 7 hours that WrestleMania was.
Yes.
But with that, guys, please like this video, comment your predictions, who you think's gonna win, and subscribe for more content. We will be having our top 10 favorite videos coming up real soon, and it may be actually already out by the time this video gets out. I'm not really sure what we're gonna do on that. And then we're also going to have a couple other top 10s coming out within the next couple weeks. So just stay tuned for all that. But with that, guys, this is Zach. Say bye, Zach.
Bye.
You forgot to say Zach at the end of that, but whatever. You were supposed to say bye, Zach. And my name is Parker, and this has been Wawa Echo, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.